right, well, welcome back to another Ask Pastor Chase question. Got another good one this week. Here it is.
Hey, Pastor Chase, in the Old Testament, people lived a lot longer than they do now. Was the age measured differently, or did they live a lot older? Bye.
All right, that's a great question, and it's one that I don't think any of us can help but to ask when we read the book of Genesis, especially. Because in the book of Genesis, we see people who are living to be like 900 years old. Let me just show you some of the examples of how long some people live. The Bible tells us that Adam lived to be 930 years old, Seth lived to be 912 years old, Enosh 905, Methuselah 969, that's actually the oldest age that's given to us in the Bible, Lamech 777, and then Noah lived to be 950 years old. So the Bible talks about all these people living such long times, and so the question was asked, are they counting age the same way that we count age? Because there's no way that people live to be almost 1,000 years old, is there? Well, the Bible tells us that it is true. And just like so many other things in the Bible that might not seem common to us today or might not seem like they make sense today, it takes a lot of faith for us to believe that they were actually true. When the book of Genesis was written, and it was written by Moses, people weren't living to be 1,000 years old anymore. In fact, Moses himself says in the Bible that the average lifespan is only about 70 to 80 years old. Now, Moses wrote that a long, long time ago, but that's still true for us today. And so when Moses was writing, he understood that people weren't going to live to be 1,000 years old, yet he still included in his message in Genesis that people were living to be over 1,000. So this wasn't figurative language, or this wasn't Moses having a different kind of way of measuring lifespans than we do today. No, Moses really meant that these people lived to be almost 1,000 years old. So how can this be true? Well, if you think about it, when God created the earth, he would have needed to populate the earth as well. And so one of the ways that the earth could be populated faster is if people lived longer, because when people were living to be almost 1,000 years old, they were able to have way, way more children. However, the book of Genesis also tells us that there came a point where God said people weren't going to live to be much older than around 120 years old. And so the lifespan of mankind was reduced significantly. And many people have thrown out many theories of how this happened or why people used to live so long. Some people say that there was a covering of water above the earth before the flood, and so radiation wasn't coming through as much. And other people like to say that just our bodies were naturally healthier towards the beginning of time, and then over time our health started to break down, and so that's why the lifespan shrunk. But in reality, we don't know why the lifespans shrunk, other than the fact that God said that was what was to be done. And so actually this kind of ties in a little bit to today's message, as we're talking about sometimes God does things and we don't understand why, and it takes a lot of faith for us to trust that he knows what's best. And so if God wanted people to live almost 1,000 years old towards the beginning of time, he's God and he can do that. And if he wanted to shrink our lifespans down now to about 120 years old max, really around 70 or 80 years old, well, he's God and he can do that. There's a couple more scientific articles that look at this a little bit more in depth. I'll put those in the description to this video, but thank you so much for asking this question. If you have any other questions that you'd like to see me answer, you can send in an email or a text message to the number that's here on the screen, and I will do my best to answer those questions. So thanks for asking another Ask Pastor Chase question. And if you're watching this on Sunday morning, I'll see you in just a little bit for the service.